Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of The Broken Engineer. Today I'm going to be walking you guys through the process of how I built a robotic arm. So let's see how this thing came to be. So once upon a time, there was a mentally overloaded broke engineer. So instead of lightening his load as one does, he decided to add to it. So let's look at the design. The finger has an inside tab and an outside tab. Here, the outside tab is placed on top of the inside one to stack the fingers on top of each other. So if we remove this isolate, we see that the fingers stack nicely on top of each other. Now these holes are where pins go, and these pins allow circular movements. So as you can see, we can move the finger left and right. These curves are used to limit the range of motion of the finger, and there are holes placed inside of the finger in order for string to run through them and control the finger. Practically, the string is wrapped around it in such a way that when the string is pulled, the finger closes. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it until I printed it out. So the biggest problem that I faced was tolerances. They're the sizing fit between two parts, right? So this pin that we have here, you'll notice that this diameter fits perfectly with this pin so that when you push it on, it snaps into place, right? But if the measurements were even slightly off by a few millimeters, then it doesn't fit together. There's another problem in play though. It's the size of the pin. So if we take the finger and place the pin inside, there's really high friction between the pin and the finger, right? And that's an issue. Okay, so here's the finished product. See, there's the same pin design, except slightly smaller with tape in the middle, and this allows us to do two things. First, it's easier to customize the sizing so that you can just add more tape if you want it to be bigger and fit in the hole properly. And also it reduces the friction between the two fingers so it can move easier. To find the tolerances of your 3D printer, you usually use a tool like this, but I didn't know that they existed, so I might have sold my kidney to, buying a filament to manually test out all the tolerances by myself, one by one. Now, the second problem was freedom of movement. Practically, I had to change the shape of the curve until the finger bent in the way that I wanted it to. Then I came up with a genius idea. Instead of using string to control the finger, if I used 3D printing filament, its restorative properties will bring the finger back to shape without needing to do anything. Okay, it was actually because I was too broke to buy string. You think I'm joking, but I'm not. I've run out of paper a while ago, so I've been using the same piece of digital paper over and over and over again with my pencil that ran out of lead. Yeah, I've been through it all. Next is the servo system, which used a string connected to a servo in order to control the finger. Now, unfortunately, my first system wasn't strong enough. When I say too weak, I mean that every time the servo was told to turn, instead of turning, it would kind of struggle in the same place and then slip. So, as the D1 overthinker that I am, I built a gearbox. It didn't work. So then I learned something really important. You can actually screw down the white arm into the servo. This immediately fixed the slipping, but the servo was still too weak. So I decided to change from PLA filament to actual string. So this is iteration 1. Yeah, one quick question. How the actual are those fingers gonna get into that bar? நம்ம ரத்தம் வேர்வை கண்ணீர் போட்டு ஒரு நல்ல வாழ்க்கை கொடுத்து அமெரிக்காவுக்கு போயிட்டு நல்லா படிப்பு கொடுத்து இன்னும் இப்படிதான் பண்ணுவேயா? அச்சோ. So instead of scrapping the idea, I didn't want to waste all that filament, so I tried to double down and add an attachment piece. This That clearly didn't work out so great. I finally decided to use my brain. So this is the palm of the robot, and as you can see, the top half of it is pretty much built like a finger. And what that does is allow free movement for the other fingers to kind of attach onto the top and move freely. The bottom half, however, is more of the palm, and it allows for connection between other palm pieces using these rectangular indents. So they can kind of just connect onto each other and infinitely stack up as many fingers as needed. There is also a space in the middle for the servo to fit in, and this servo will be responsible for pulling the string which pulls the fingers downwards. And then it worked. And in that moment, hours of hard work finally paid off. And that's when I've learned that it was never really about how much talent or skill you have. It's more about whether or not you can keep going even when times are rough. Remember, millions quit before they hit it big. And that's why you should come to the Broken Engineers Casino on your next holiday, because that's where dreamers turn their dreams into reality. Anyways, the hand's done now. The handstand lets the hand stand. The problem is that the string only pulls the finger in one direction. So when this is turned and the finger comes in, there's nothing really to put the finger back down. In my first design, I tried to use a polyurethane rope to pull the finger back in place. It works fine when there's only one finger piece, like in this clip, but once there's two, it doesn't work as well. The way the system works is by taking the same concept that we used in the front on the back side, except this time it's pulling the finger back upwards. Unfortunately, I ran out of servos, so I could only get 2 of the fingers to work. But hey, 2 out of 5 work. And that's better than the student participation in group projects. Hey, I'm gonna be a senior next year, so I think I'm gonna be part of those 3 this time. Yeah, no one's believing that. I think this project taught me a lot of lessons. Firstly, it just humbled the hell out of me, mainly because it was such a simple project, but I think because of that I kept jumping straight into the process instead of taking the few steps backwards that I really needed. And that brings me to my second point, the importance of prototyping. So prototyping is making smaller versions or a model to test out if the idea works. I think because I didn't do that, I ended up making multiple iterations of the hand, wasting a lot of filament and time, and also slowly losing my sanity. The next thing I would like to say is the importance of research, which again comes with the 3 steps backwards. See, it's important to not reinvent the wheel, which I think I did a lot of the times, because a lot of people online have already found solutions to the same problems that you're facing. It's just important that you're able to take their help instead of trying to solve everything yourself. It also led to me creating my own design philosophy, which is that if a system is getting increasingly complicated over time or it seems excess, then I will store down the design, but completely throw it away and start fresh, because the best designs are often the simplest. Hi everyone, thank you for watching. If you guys liked today's video, make sure to like and subscribe, and please help this broken engineer transfer it into a middle class one through my Patreon.
Nah, I'm just joking.